our speaker.
Cool. We are very fortunate tonight. We have Alison Zapata with us, and she is a visual artist and art educator, and she's been working in Pittsburgh for the past 15 years. She paints, she does portraits, she does murals, she does multimedia collage. She's going to be doing some collages with us tonight. She is a graduate of Carleton University, and she, did you have something down at the Children's Museum where you did an active painting?
Yeah, recently it was.
That's not on my bio, but I remember being in the newspaper. You did a mural for that, or?
Yeah, I did it. It's called a mural mashup, and I collaborated with another artist, and the two of us put together an idea, and it was together we created a heart-shaped mural, and we had kids come in and work on it with us while we kept on working on it.
But you work with a lot of schools and children and children with autism and all sorts of handicaps and things. So she's basically all over. She does everything. So we're very, very lucky to have her here tonight with us. So that's about it. I guess take it away, Alison.
Oh, thank you. Great. So I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for the introduction. Thank you for having me here. I'm really excited to be around amongst other artists as well. It's always nice to meet other people who are creative and have the heart set on making art, for your lifetime. I think it's a really important, wonderful way to live. So I do a lot of artwork based on family and heritage. I think it's really powerful, to bring the photographs out of the drawers that we have, and the photo boxes that are out of the photo albums, and bring them to back out and revisit people's life stories, and spend a little bit of time on that, and to kind of bring up some memories and make art pieces based on that. All of our families have different journeys that have had wonderful, complex lives, and to see that, to think back on that, or just the memories or the stories that you've heard, I think it's a really cool thing. So I'll show you, I have two pieces over here just to give you a little bit of a background on some of the work. What's that? Oh, I'm sorry.
I said they're really neat.
Yeah, so just to give you a little bit of a background on the work that I've done is, these are two pieces of my family, and two family members that I think are very important. This is my grandmother, Connie Tringa, Consetta Tringa, and she was the daughter of a family who immigrated here from Italy. And so she really had a lot of Italian traditions that she held. Like, I remember being that age, I think I was probably about 5 or 6 years old in that picture. I remember staying at my grandma's house because my mom worked so much, and how I would wake up on Sunday morning like clockwork, and to the smell of her cooking sauce in the kitchen. Like, I would literally smell that in the bedroom, and I would just, oh yes, and I knew it was like, possible, and we just anticipated all day. And then for lunch, she would serve me a bowl of sauce with Parmesan cheese, 2 meatballs, and 2 slices of white bread. And, so we had, that's just a memory that, like, it's, like, super strong to me, that smell, and just the love that went around that whole nurturing aspect of her. And then these flowers, she would plant these flowers in her garden every year. And I remember because they always had these little black seeds in them, and they would pop open. I can't remember the name of those right now. But they were really a big part of her garden. And these birds, these sparrows, she would constantly have bread out. She was always feeding the birds. Alison, feed the birds, feed the birds. So it was always like any kind of bread always went back. Like, nothing went to waste in that house, This background here is this, you can see these gold pieces here. That's a tablecloth that she would have on her table that I had for so long. And I actually one day I decided that to me, I didn't really use the tablecloth, but I used it in a different way. I put the tablecloth on her and I used it as a spray stencil. So you can see that that's the actual tablecloth pattern going throughout the whole piece. And she always wore big gold hoop earrings, so I put those in there because that's like a big memory. And then I did some writing about it and put that in the background as well. So there's a lot of layers to this piece. It's really super important to me. like I would never sell it. But this piece back here, this is my grandfather who moved here to Pittsburgh from Mexico. As a kid, he was 13 when he moved here, and he didn't speak any English, and he came here to work, and he laid railroad ties, and I think it was like back in the 50s. But he had 2 sons here, and he eventually died. But my Uncle Ronnie and my dad, that's me, my brother, my sister, and my 4 cousins, Ricky, Randy, Robbie, and Ronnie. And they, so I think back to that time and him, when he moved here, and his name was Rosalio, and so that's why I put the roses on the bottom. And the silver is very, is a resource, is throughout Mexico, and there's a lot of silver mines. You see a lot of silver jewelry from Mexico. So I put that ring around him too, because to me these are like icons, right? And so that's what we're going to be doing today, is talking about we're talking through art about the people in your families and how to bring those people to life again through iconography, through making an image, a work of art for you. Okay? So it's a really cool thing. It's a really special thing. And I think it's just kind of magical experience. What I'm going to ask you to do is I have some pencils here, and what we need is some scrap paper. Do you happen to have? So one thing I wish I would have brought paper. I know
How about as we cut out our pictures, we'll have paper left over?
Oh, I got a better idea. What if we take these boards? Let's open them up and write directly on the back, okay? So take your boards. Okay. So why don't you take a moment, take off that plastic, take a moment and select the picture that you have, and we're going to do a little writing exercise right on the back of the boards. So what picture do you want to use? So pick out your picture, take a second and really look at that picture.
Well, we should look at the remote. Like paper. I brought paper.
Did you brought real pictures? Okay.
We are the ones around paper.
Okay, one.
Which ones? Let's see. Did you bring copies? Yeah, you want to work with probably the copy.
Came up, babe.
Oh, I thought we were there.
Okay.
Just copies, but if you know what, if you have that one, that's okay. It's okay to work with that one.
Well,
It's I don't want you to ruin your, not ruin it, but if it's just, I always do copies just in case it's a little bit easier. Okay. That's not the actual picture, right? This is a copy of it, or?
I just copied it to basis.
Oh, then you're good then, you'll be all right.
It's all glossy.
You'll be.
I'm gonna cut it.
Yeah, no, so we won't cut it just yet, but, okay, so let's do the writing exercise. So flip your back, the backs of the canvases over. What you're gonna do is take a look at the picture that you have, right? And I want you to start writing the first things that come to your mind with that picture. There's no right or wrongs. Write about the scene, what you know about that picture, who's in the picture, just like you're on the phone and you're describing the picture to somebody that can't see it. So you're writing as if I can't see it, or somebody that you're talking to can't see it, right? Describing who's in the picture, where is the picture, what's happening, what's the smells, the sound. You can get creative with it too. What's the smells in the picture, the sounds of the picture, the time, the setting. It's a creative exercise. Just as much as you can, just like you're writing a story. Who's in the picture? What's the circumstances? How did they get there? What's the time setting? What's the mood in the picture? Is it celebratory? Is it somebody saying goodbye? Who's taking the picture? Who's in the camera? Who's holding the camera? What happened just before the picture was taken? What happened after the picture was taken? All right, so this is a really cool thing to do. Okay, so to do this, you have your board, and what you're gonna do is take your Mod Podge. Can I borrow yours for a little bit? That one, that whole right there. Yeah. You have your board. What you can do is just dip your brush in the Mod Podge, and you're going to coat your boards in one direction and the other direction. You just want to coat it. You don't want to super soak it. You just want to go back and forth, making sure you get every single square inch on that front. Okay. So you just pick one direction first, and then you go in the opposite direction, up and down, and then sideways. Okay.
Do you normally do it on canvas? Is there an advantage of doing it on canvas versus a board?
I personally like boards better for doing my own personal work, but I think just for the sake of the big group, I just said they can use you know, this or
I
what.
just didn't know if it would.
No, it doesn't. Not that I've seen it. No, because we don't. I try not to use when I do this. I try not to use too much. Just enough to get this on here. And you know where you have your writing. If you don't want to cover up too much of your writing, you could also. I think the writing is really awesome on the back. You can also just trim some of this excess off so that when you go ahead and glue it to the back, just like you're wrapping a gift, you're just laying down the first layer. You're adding some texture to your art piece for your background. It's a nice way to move a little quickly to add color to your art piece without painting. It's just like it gets dry real fast and you can get on to your next step. So I'm taking that. Sorry, I keep forgetting about the camera here. But I'm just gonna go like that and wrap it just like you're wrapping a gift. You want that front to look nice and neat and ready to go. If there's any air bubbles, if there's any wrinkles, that's perfectly fine. Actually, I think it adds more texture to the piece and it makes it more interesting. So I have some tissue paper up here. If you want to pick out what papers you'd like to try to add your first layer of color down first. Okay. Yeah, I would just glue it. So basically, like, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I put glue on the back so it wraps it like this. Mhm. Remember, if you have any, you're like, okay, why am I just gluing these colors down? Bring it back to that photo and the writing that you did. So keep thinking back to that. How can you tell that story? With these colors? Okay. Keep thinking back to that writing. No, I remember strawberry shortcake.
I just said that I thought that the first part and the second part felt really different, so I would just count them and just like a second. Did you read that? So the one is for. Is that for a specific piece? Yeah. That's what I okay. So it's like, okay. I'll just take this first. Never know.
you want to just kind of lay these colors in. Remember, there's no wrong or right way to do it. You're really telling a story. And I like to kind of think of, one thing I like to remember is like the rule of thirds, rather than having things just like be like plain, right down the middle, maybe a little, the third bottom or the top third. Like kind of breaking things up that way kind of helps a little bit.
This is so fun.
Oh, yeah. This is like, well, really, I think it's very freeing,
It
because
is. I'm really worried about
tell a story without having to, my drawing, does my drawing look exactly like this person? It's just a really freeing medium.
it. Where did we get these boards?
Just Amazon, and they're not expensive.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking this is a great background for my grand.
Yeah, kids love this. Kids love this. Ooh. You know what, I better not, because my house is all like starting to get crazy. It's starting to get too much stuff. Maybe I'll come in here and add. Also, I wanted to mention, think about the organic edge versus the cut straight edge. So even tearing the paper, getting a ripped edge kind of gives more of an organic look as opposed to just cutting. So, you can experiment with things that are torn. Or
For a month.
yes. If something rips, you can just take a little scrap and hack it right back out. Oh. These all are. There's. Okay, so here, this one, I just kind of broke it up. I'm thinking about that birthday party, about a young girl's birthday party, and I put in like a light purple, a pink, and then down here, this little ribbon of pink at the bottom. How can you show that time with color and shapes? How can you show that scene? How would you represent that scene in color and shape? Organic lines, straight lines. The rule of thirds, the bottom third, the top third. How would you show that? It can be symbolic, or it can be abstract. How would you show this picture? If it was just going to be an abstract painting of that scene, what would that look like? Mm-hmm. Oh, this one clear? Definitely go, yeah. Would this go clear? The pink, the purple color, the blue will show up, but this will be clear. Yes. I did.
I brought an extra, so here's an extra too.
Okay. Yeah.
I think have brush will job.
Maybe I have it, and I can find it.
Yeah, I got these Lowe's, and they're just like tip brushes, because basically at the end, these things have Mod Podge on, they just go steps and go Yes, yes. Yeah, I did this project yesterday and I took the brushes and I put them in boiling water, like I boiled water and poured it, let them soak. It just sits in there. Okay. So, how's everyone? Looking good? Okay. So talking about different, how to build up your background. So we did the first layer of tissue paper. I'm going to show you a couple other really cool techniques I think you might like. One of my favorite is the spray paint stencil to build up, just to add some interest to the picture. So let's do this. Actually, let's prep our image first. So you have your picture. One of the things that the best thing I can give as far as advice for making this, you don't want this to look like paper with a picture just standing on top, right? You want this to look like an image, right? So one of the things I like to do is I like that really torn organic edge. So I'll take these pictures, I did it on that one too. I'll take my paper and tear it from the back to the front so that I get this torn edge. Okay? So if I take that, I just kind of go along it, give a little bit of space around it. Don't want to go right up to it. I'm over here in the camera. So I'll take my picture, and just to avoid making it look like a cut out picture, I'll tear it from back to front, using my finger to guide the tear. And it just has a little bit more of an ethereal look to it, a softer edge. It doesn't look like, ultimately just a cut piece of paper. It just has a little bit more of a weathered look to it. Looks a little bit more like mysterious, I guess. Just add some mystery to it. And I like to go from the back to the front just to, so that the white edge is a little bit more prominent. If you prefer to cut it out, that is perfectly fine. It's up to you. That's just something I like to do, just to give it a softer look, not just a straight cut. But we're not going to glue that down yet. We're still going to be building up that background. Is there somebody on here still?
Yep, yeah.
Okay.
Lynn says yes.
Hi, Lynn. Good. Oh, is there 10 people on there?
Well, cameras too, but yeah,
Okay,
you are
okay.
talking to multiple people out there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Emily, Helena.
Ah.
Kelly's watching us from another country.
Oh my goodness.
Is that always online sport? Because I need to update the minutes.
Okay.
Patty's on here too.
Is this helpful? Can everybody? Yeah, okay. Okay, I can see the camera there. Okay. So think about, okay, now that I have this on here, I'm looking at this. Okay, so here's what the pink lines at the top. Or I'm trying to, I don't like that. Just playing around and seeing how this works. I was going to go in this direction with the lines on the bottom, but I think I'm going to flip it. Somehow I like that, like everything going up. So real quickly, I'll show you. I was going to go with these pink lines on the bottom like that, but just kind of on a fluke. I actually like it like that. I like those pink lines at the top. So that's where I'm going to go with that. Okay. So next, we're going to talk about adding texture to the background. I remember with the piece that I showed you before with my grandmother's piece, I used her tablecloth as the pattern for that. I have here something really fun that you might like. Why don't we go outside? Are you up for going outside to check this out, this next technique? Okay.
That will throw off our people from online.
Oh, stinkers. Can we open up this door again?
That's you guys. We're gonna,
Okay.
oh, no, wait, is that gonna, Ralph, if she sprays spray paint in here, is that gonna bother you? Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to show what I'm going to do. And then I might just go ahead and do it outside anyway, just to be on the safe side, because I don't want everybody to get stinky in here. Okay, so I have this stencil that I got at Michael's a while back. I really like it. I'm looking at the way, maybe I just want to have it at the bottom half. Maybe I want it to touch the top here. There's a whole, I think I might go with the whole piece, considering that this is going to take up a lot of space. Or should I do the whole thing? Should I do the whole thing? Let's see, what do you think at home, guys? What do you think? I like that pattern taking over the whole thing, but I think I might just do the bottom half. Okay, so I'm gonna take a second. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna take a second to take this outside and spray this just to get that pattern on there. Okay, so when we're doing this, you just take your stencil with your spray paint and just short little little bursts, just short little bursts. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna just keep going. And I heard there was bubble wrap, which is kind of a fun thing too. So, where is that back there? Under there. Okay, perfect. Oh, cool. Great. Another thing you can do to build up the background is bubble wrap. So we're gonna here. So do you want to come up around here and just take a look? Because it's a lot easier to see up there. There you go. So you can really get a good view. Maybe the wash this off. You know what? Yeah, I just got a little paper towel. Okay. Another thing you can do is, so I have that pattern, actually that pattern looks really good behind the white. But you can also paint on, you can get a really nice effect by just lightly, very, very lightly, not heavy painting. Can everybody see that on? Just real lightly, adding a little bit of white paint to bubble wrap. And then you just gently, very, very gently, you can add it to your piece in different spaces. Okay, and that just adds a nice additional pattern or additional texture. So I'm just gently, not a lot of paint. Yesterday I taught this class and some of the students added so much white paint and then it started becoming real messy, like just blobs. You just want to be careful, not too much paint. And then you can lay your bubble wrap down just to start to build up some texture for interest. Okay. And I think that looks pretty cool. Actually, I wish I would have did that before I did the stencil, but it's good enough for now. Okay. So that's another technique. Another technique you can do is, I don't know if you ever seen people do dry rag on wall for texture. You can take a piece of brown paper bag and start to crumple up that brown paper bag. Spread a very thin layer of color. Maybe I'll go into yellow. And take that, stamp it down, and just gently start to add in some color and spaces. If you like, I personally feel like mine is good. I don't want to do any more patterns, but there's brown paper bag, bubble wrap, or different techniques to add different layers of colors to your piece as well for backgrounds. So just kind of going through the different methods here. I have texture, brown paper bags and bubble wrap, stamps, a stencil, and we'll get into tinted Mod Podge. So, whew, this place is, the table's starting to look good. So another thing you can do is create a tinted Mod Podge. Clean this brush off. Okay. So, why don't you also, how about this? Let's do another little demo up here. Okay. So, why don't you just come on up here real quickly? I'm going to show you this next technique as well. Mhm. So when you're doing this, it's just, actually, there's a few ways you can do it. You can glaze the background of your piece with a little bit of a color to it. I've done that on a couple of these pieces, especially that back piece. And when you're making the glaze, you're gonna pour your Mod Podge like this. Okay, can you see that on there? Okay. And you're gonna add a little bit of color to this. So maybe I'll go in with this blue. And I mean just a touch, not a lot. You just need just a touch. And you're gonna make a tint. That might be way too light. Okay, just a tint. Okay. You know, if you ever like, you remember those like nail polishes that were clear with just a tint of color to them? That's what you're making. You're just adding a tint. And you'll see, I like to use magazines just because it's like easy just to toss, but you can see when you add, it's clear, it's translucent, and you can still see underneath it. Okay, that's what you want. See how I'm putting that down? You can still see underneath it. So I'm creating a tint using this Mod Podge and just a little bit of color. And I can start to add it to my piece if I want. This is I'm just showing a few techniques. Tinted Mod Podge. Here, we have the brown paper bag, bubble wrap, stamp, stencils, and tinted Mod Podge. That maybe I want to calm those dots down a little bit. Maybe they're just a little bit too much. Maybe I want to calm those down. Right? Maybe I want to push something back because it was too strong. That's when I can, but I still want it to show, but it's just too much. It's like, too much. So I'll make a tint and kind of echo it or kind of push it a little bit more in the background. I like that piece back there. Maybe I'll just, that spray, maybe I'll make a little bit go back, a little bit come up. And so I'll just kind of tint that back a little bit in a piece by adding a glaze over the whole piece. You see what I mean? So it doesn't always work out yesterday. The piece that I made, was like, I kind of liked it, but the glaze, I think really, like maybe I'll go back over that with the glaze. But yeah, I just kind of picked this one tonight. So really, I'm just kind of picking. I'm just creating just a little bit, and I'm going to tone that whole thing back with that. I'm just going to do the whole thing. Okay, so I'm just kind of calming it down. Or maybe I want to brighten it up with some color, but that's an option. It's not, it's not necessary. It's just a little something extra to do. Okay.
And do you write on?
Well, I've been just using regular pencil. I also brought colored pencils too. So we can do that. Oh, yes, definitely, definitely. Oh, I have all this magazine paper here. If anybody wants to use this to create a glaze.
That's a great tech.
Yeah.
Use up old magazine.
Because I have, at the end of the day, I mean, I don't want to be there scrubbing all these palettes out, It's just a real quick and free, recycling, so to speak. Although I end up reading the magazines sometimes. Was that? Oh, if you wanted to do a glaze. If you wanted to glaze the whole background.
What can I do to glaze over her so it's not so shiny?
Oh,
No?
yeah, I don't, that's, yeah, this is beautiful though. That background's beautiful. Mhm. And you want to keep you want to keep the card, right?
Yes.
Somebody said.
So now the only thing is the only thing with this one, I'm going to show the rest of the group here. Look at this piece. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, no, I think this is great. These little pink dots.
What do I do with the paint?
If you want to make a glaze,
Can I just paint with that on there?
I think it looks great. You can, but I mean, I really think it looks fantastic. I like that. Yeah, if you want to, I have these color pencils if you want to add words to it. If you want to write. So you see how here I put that writing on this one? I just used regular pencils. And if you
I want
want,
to write words.
oh, definitely.
1964.
Oh my gosh, here, I would use all these. just, I would use these.
But I have to write it down.
Yes, so one, I got a hair dryer over here to help it dry.
Now, how do I just,
Okay, so now I have this glue stick. You wanna use that, if you wanna use the Mod Podge real thin, I'm a little bit worried about with this one because this plastic paper, that plastic, I'm just afraid it's not gonna stick with this regular glue stick. I would use the Mod Podge for that.
May I have a sheet?
Oh, yes, definitely. So is this too many techniques or is this okay?
This is.
Okay, good.
You're welcome. This is a.
Yeah.
So
I like the glue stick just for cleaning down paper, but when it comes to. Did you get that one? What?
Yeah, I didn't know it was green, so I figured you might want some sparkle. Do you have a, so that you've already ruined the, I'm gonna use yours.
I also have saying in case you want to do some writing. Also, if you're, at the end, we're gonna add some of the words into the art piece, and I have a hair dryer ready to help dry things out. How's it going here? Good?
Trying to figure out how to say this.
Incorporate.
That's too much. Small.
So.
That's great.
And this one too, but it's great. Yeah, something like that.
And you could also, nothing wrong with, adding it and kind of adding a.
I would do it.
You can add more than one, more than one. You go here and here.
Oh, yeah.
I think you guys submitted that.
Oh,
That's why.
that is fantastic.
Okay, yeah.
The shadow.
Make it shadow. Yeah.
Is everyone doing okay? Remember, if you're doing it late,
No, we probably what you want.
I can't wait to see what online people are doing.
No, I was using one for paper. Yeah, there wasn't.
yeah. So we're just this is kind of peek and see how that looks. Do we hold it well? No, that's good. Okay. Oh, neat. That's awesome. Now look at your stamp box. Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah, there's the stamp stuff. There are a ton of stamps. Remember, you're trying to tell the story with image and mood and color. Yes. So if you're ready to glue down your pictures, if you got your background exactly how you want it, like I said, you want to do any glazing back there, you want to do that ahead of time. And glue your picture. Go back into the group here. Into group.
You can't Mod Podge your picture, you glue your picture.
So you can glue, you can Mod Podge it. Yeah, so if I want to add this to here, I'm going to take Mod Podge to the back of it and add it onto here. Okay, so I'm just gonna dip in here, add Mod Podge to the back of my picture. This time you wanna, when you do it, you wanna add your Mod Podge to the center. I'm sorry, you wanna press from the center and then go outward, just to get those bubbles out. Okay. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add my piece down. And in the end, I think I put the pink down on the bottom anyway. I'm going to press it out from the middle out to keep the bubbles down. So pressing gently from the middle out. Keep the bubbles up. And you can think about this in two parts. You know, on the paintings that or the collages that I brought, I did some more realistic painting later on. So that's when I add the flowers and the birds and the roses. You can always later add painting to it that you like. I know there's yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. Stars might be kind of fun back here. I might do that.
Now, do you do stamping after you do the picture now, Evan?
Oh, yeah, I mean, you can make it any way you want. If you want to do the stamps down for the background first, you can do that. Or if you want to do the stamping over top, it's up to you. I try to, I even have origami paper here. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of little paintbrushes up here. If you want to, I was gonna say, if you want to do the tinting, so before you look over here, you see here, remember the Mod Podge tinting that I showed? Where it's almost 90% Mod Podge and just a touch color. That's how I got the clothes. I mixed up a very light tint, and then I started to paint the clothes, just tint the clothes. Yeah. So it's still clear, and you can still see you see how you can still see the lines from the photograph? I did that, so like up here. Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna just have a little bit of yellow. Yeah. This way it's so thin that we can still see the paint in the photograph. It's just starting to tint back. What you don't want to do is have a paint over paint.
Yeah.
So here, we paint all over. So what I would do with that, so ours look really simple. Maybe.
Okay, oh, you have paintbrush? I didn't want to use the same stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think yours is right here. Would you want a small brush?
And I
You want to take a brush?
I just want to put a little bubble with you know, like in here.
Yes, there you go. I would pull this real thin,
I
then paint it on there.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay, so that does shoot, so I just have this.
Look at it, taking this old fashioned.
Yeah, so here,
I love that.
I just did one part, so just to make these guys stand out, I just want to go ahead and It's like, just like, it's like clear, and then it's like adding. Just a touch. Yeah, it's just a fun technique. There was a woman that was doing collages about 10 years ago, and I was watching her series. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so neat. Actually, so I used to teach at the Pittsburgh Center for the Arts, and they would have classes that if you taught, you got to take one free class a year, semester. And so I wanted to learn more about painting. I wanted to take like a human figure painting class, and it was full. And so my friend who works there was like, oh, why don't you take this collage class? And I was like, no. But I took it, and then I was like totally hooked. Like it was actually life changing. Like I've been using collage ever since. It just needs more. What do you say? Oh, wow, that looks really cool there, especially with the water.
Well, that's, yeah. What else can we do?
So, like something has here. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's, maybe trying.
Perfect.
Yeah.
This right there.
And dark in Oh, isn't it? It's just really forgiving. That's right, yeah, just play.
Oh, but.
And you can always add in.
Oh, yeah. And and when we went up there, she was on we were having from Charter in the diner. Super service.
So here I just added a little tint to some of the clothing, so that stand out a little bit more. Yeah, and that's like, when I go to get properties made of pictures, I'll get a whole bunch, so I have a whole, like, I'll get a whole bunch of the same picture, so that I can keep working with that same picture over and over and over again. You know, so like, I've done this picture like a ton of times, so that's one of my favorites.
How did you get it so big? Did you just take it to like Kinko's or something?
I told them to make it
Big as
larger.
you can.
Yeah. So we're at 8:30 at this point. What we'll do is, I'll show you the technique I use. I really like this whole icon of these art pieces here with these halos. I can show you how to do that. And then I'll also show you how to add the text to the background, which is pretty, I think, a real powerful last touch to the art piece.
You didn't glue her down yet?
I get carried.
You want bubbles? You want bubbles? photos in the background? And then were they not getting along right now? You what? Them together, like, you know, they're getting along. Does anybody have any questions or? Oh, yeah, they already switched. Need any help at all? Thank you. If you need any help, don't be afraid to ask. I'm here to help. Well, take a seat. Let's just sit up. Yeah, that's what Steve, switch with Caitlin. I like this. So, Caitlin, Shannon, Dave.
I didn't do the pictures taken, so.
Listen, I knew that keep it on the next page. Keep on the next page.
No pressure, no pressure.
No, I had a magenta, I probably sent.
I didn't pack it, but I think I took.
That's okay.
Okay. Let's see. Alright, so I'm gonna move into the next phase. Let me see here. So the next phase is adding silver or gold or any color, halo you want as a icon. And, well, I mean, if the person's still alive, they might not appreciate that sentiment.
You know what I mean? They're gonna have to stay on board when you do.
Yeah, correct.
But I did there Oh, no. The more much you
So.
Like partnership.
Oh, I thought it was kids.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You can have whatever you want.
Okay, is there still folks on the line here?
So what?
Just checking to see if people are still online. Okay, so what I have next here is, I have these foils, these foil origami pieces. It's okay. I have these foil origami pieces. It's origami paper that you can get in foil form, and they come in all different colors. So if you want, they're really, I just use them, instead of using them as a origami, I'll use them as a collage piece. And you can get them on Amazon, they come in packs, and they just last forever. There's all different colors. Oh, here's your fuchsia. Yeah. So there's all types of really cool colors up here. So if you want to, you know, I mean, you don't have to make a halo, or if you want to make a, I might do that in fuchsia up here. If you want to add dots in the background using this paper, or if you want to add a little something extra into your piece, and you feel this foil would make sense, you're welcome to use it as that collage element. Actually, I'm not going to use the fuchsia. I'm going to go back to gold. I might do a like a little halo right here, right on top. Let's see. I can use that. That might be too big.
Is there like a rainbowy silver? Or,
I have this here.
open one.
I thought I had another pack floating around.
There's some in here, but I don't think it's open. I'm not gonna open it.
You're welcome to use anything up here, yeah. So, let's see, I just have to figure out how big I want that to be, so maybe like the size of a quarter, maybe? See, I have this lid, that's perfect. Okay, so I'll use that as my drawing.
So there's no measure.
No, I just kind of use the, like, what I have around, like jerry rig.
That's what's so cool about it.
Yeah, there's little like lids around or anything that you can use that will get the shape that you want. So I just use the lid to try to get that. But this is like a foil origami paper that I got off of Amazon, and it just lasts forever, these packages. And if I'm doing this with my students, the second I bring this out, it's like, oh, everybody just loves it. So here we go. I have to try to capture that shape. Just trying to redraw that shape.
You didn't have an empty, large brush container.
Empty
Did you use
total
them all? I wanted it
for the circle. Oh, do you know what? What if you draw on the back of it? You know what I mean? Like a
top, like that side.
oh,
Let
the
me look-
top.
let me look in the kitchen. It might be a plate or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the look at that, so I might come in a little thin.
We see Sandy. Sandy.
Okay, okay.
My college really maybe.
I feel like that's way too big, so he'll come in.
You are?
This
Over here, marking where I want to cut it.
Mine was automatic. It had sheet, well, it had the bench like. We're using like. Oh, the bench.
Okay.
So, like it takes like. Yeah, it's not some high. It's not a sports spot. Cause like when I did this. I did this where, like, my students have parents. And then when I.
Let's not stick it down.
I saw some really good examples of that. Today. Yeah, we had all our cards with the.
And that same way with my Camaro. My 1984 Camaro.
Camaro?
Oh, yes.
You were like a wild one, you weren't you?
$250,000.
All this down here. Wow. What color was your Camaro?
That's cute.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes. So if you want to, we're gonna move into the last piece. If you want to there's a hair dryer, if you want to really dry
Your art piece before you put your writing on it, you're welcome to do that. And again, you don't, none of this is prescriptive. If you want to put your writing in there, you can. If you don't, you have to. I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up with a hair dryer real quick.
So lastly, I'll just put these here. These are colored pencils. If you want to add any elements of the writing piece that you had, before in your art piece, you can't, up here, when I did that writing about that photograph, my grandmother, I just put it in the background, I didn't put it across the picture or anything like that, just started.